Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have a review of Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Ship of Magic is the first book in the Liveship Traders trilogy. The main players in the book are the Vestrit family, but there is also a character of Kennet, the pirate who wishes to be the Pirate King, and Amber, who we don't really know that much about. She wants to help this live ship who has been marooned on a beach. So, a live ship is purchased by a family with these Rain Wilds traders, and after 3 successive members from a family have died upon its decks, it will go into a quickening and the figurehead upon the boat will wake up, and it will have the memories of all the people who have gone before it and the memories of the ship and all these different things. And originally I did not think that this was going to work because inanimate objects coming to life has never been something that I've been able to get my head around, but it worked here and it was quite good to read about. We are introduced to the character of Althea Vestrit, who works upon the decks of the ship Vivacia, who is her family's ship, and we know from the outset that Althea's father, the third member who will die upon this ship, is close to death. Althea also has an enemy in her brother-in-law, Kyle Haven. Althea believes that she will inherit this ship from her father upon his death, but it transpires that her mother has spoken to her father and things haven't really gone as everyone believed they would go. The world is in upheaval and it is now even more so because of what is going on within the Vestrit family. Ship of Magic is very much a family saga. I read it and it brought my mind back to all these big classical books that focus on the terrible things within families and all these different things that families do. It reminded me of the Forsyte saga and like really big, lavish, flaming television soaps. It was great. It was incredibly evocative. The characters all felt completely different. There is all this stuff about parents and how many rights a parent has over their child and whether a parent can really make the right decisions for their child. And you could certainly see all these struggles and all these conflicts within the family as certain characters thought they knew what was best for other characters and other characters were really coming into their own and discovering themselves. And it did talk about this thing of the child knowing what they want but the parent wanting something else for them. It was great to see how to the extreme this would get. There is also talk of slavery within this book, which meant it took me a lot longer to read than I originally envisaged, and I planned to because of the darkness and the tone of the book. There are certain things that happen where I just had to put the book down for a bit because if I read any further it was going to just be horrible. I mean, as a person who spends their life being mostly apathetic, to actually be feeling things for these characters and not wanting things to happen to them that were happening, it was extremely difficult for me to read. Because I did come to really, really like some of the characters within this book, and again, some of their decisions were decisions that I was just hoping they wouldn't make, and they did make anyway. I think Hobb is still extremely good at torturing her characters, but this series did feel a world away from the Farseer trilogy. Like if you read the Assassin's Apprentice and you were looking for something similar, you wouldn't find it here because this book is so completely different and just goes to show the different styles and narratives that Hobb can weave. Whereas with the Farseer trilogy, we very much had a coming-of-age story. This is a story that is very much about the family, and again, as I said, the saga within this family, and they all have their wants and their needs, and all of these wants clash against each other, and all their motives clash against each other. And it works brilliantly, and it's great to see how Hobb weaves these characters together and makes these threads. And I still feel extremely sorry for Wintro, and I'm just hoping things get better for that poor boy. Althea, at the end of this book, there does seem to be a glimmer of hope in the future for her, and I'm hoping that it remains, because we know Hobb, it could be the worst thing for her to become hopeful, because look at what happened to Fitz when he gained some hope and thought things were going well for himself. Once again, we have talk of addiction, we have talk of poverty, and we have talk of corruption within the government, which you will get in any fantasy novel. And again, I think it's completely different to the way that Regal was corrupt in the Farseer trilogy. We don't see this satrap or satrap, however you pronounce it. We don't see him. He is this constant looming figure of the devastation that the world that we are seeing has felt. And there is this lack of money, and in having the books set on boats, the characters are constantly able to move around the world and reveal more to you, and I think that was a really great tool for Hobb to use, and she used it extremely well. It is a very slow-paced book in the beginning, but when you think about the fact this is 880 pages, and within that 880 pages so much happens to these characters, and these characters are nowhere near the characters they were in the beginning. They have all gained something, they have gained some more knowledge, and they have changed incredibly. And it was great to read, again, as a writer and a reader, because Hobb is able to build worlds so brilliantly, and there are references to the earlier books as the barbarians in the north. It was interesting to read about trading and the contracts that grandparents will make for their descendants, well, our ascendants will make for descendants without really thinking about them and thinking about the consequences, and how we have to live with the consequences of former generations. And there is so much within this book that I would like to talk about, and I just can't seem, again, to find the words to figure out what I want to say. I took this book to Whitby with me, and being by the sea and reading it was, and actually being somewhere that, you know, it does these things. They have the boats there in the harbour, and they're going out and they're looking at it, and it was incredibly easy to put yourself in the world of Ship of Magic. I'm not saying everyone has to go to the coast now to read the book, but it really does help to evoke some more of the images. This book has surpassed the Farseer trilogy so far in its scope, and I am incredibly excited to see where the book will go from now on, even though the next two books are both over 900 pages, but it's fine because I don't have a life anyway. If you would like to discuss this book, please do so down below. I know I've probably not said a lot, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.